Hi, I'm Jenya Romanova. This is my YouTube channel, and here we are again. Welcome. Hit the bell and leave comments. It's actually so interesting that every time I want to stop making YouTube videos, someone either writes to me in direct messages or I meet people in real life who say, I watched you on YouTube, or I saw you on YouTube. It's so interesting. What you talk about is so important. It might not always be clear, but we need it. I think just how many more times do I need to ask this question to the world? And I'm like, well, that's it. Probably the last episode and we won't film anymore. Someone says, well, no, that's how it is. It's been like this every week for 3 weeks now. Leave comments, ask questions. Otherwise, we'll stop doing this. Last time we talked about the fact that we can't see ourselves. We can only see our reflection. And this is, in my opinion, the greatest injustice, so to speak, that a person is not able to see themselves. We can only see our reflection, and I can see my reflection in a mirror. I can see my reflection through other people. I can see my reflection through my feelings and emotions toward myself. And this, well, it's not the best experience because we learn this through how our mother sees us in childhood. And if our mother couldn't handle some of our difficult, heavy emotions, those she was supposed to endure, yes, and allow us to be whoever we are and feel however we feel, while still not losing her love, not losing her gaze, not losing her presence, and understanding that this is normal. You can come home with a bad grade and you will still be loved. You won't lose your parents' love because of that. And something very interesting happened to me in New York. At some point, I don't know why it happened to me. Well, actually, I have some guesses as to how it happened, but for a couple of minutes, I saw myself. And what I saw, I really didn't like. I saw not the image of myself that I so carefully and deliberately construct and present to the world. And it is through this very image that I interact with people, that I build relationships, and that I perceive myself. In other words, I do not truly look at myself at who I genuinely truly am. I build a relationship with myself through this image of myself. And when my carefully crafted, constructed image is reflected back to me through other people, through some of my failures, when my relationships didn't work out, when my business didn't succeed, when something serious and unpleasant happened in my life, at that moment, this image becomes obvious. Well, that it is just an image, that it isn't all of me. And that becomes very painful. And it seems to us that the problem is within ourselves. But the real problem is that we interact with ourselves and with the world through this image of ourselves. And when you push this image aside, what can you see yourself as? Alive. And living organisms, they are all different. And something like aggression, for example, is actually an instinct for self-preservation. In other words, we can't help it. It's built into us so that we can survive. So aggression and the expression of aggression are our tools for survival. When people tell me I need to work through my aggression, I feel like crying at that moment. Because first of all, it's impossible. You don't direct it outward, you direct it inward at yourself. The way you talk to yourself, you hardly notice it since you're used to it. That is, you are not aggressive towards the situation, but towards who you are. You're being aggressive toward yourself. And in doing so, you close yourself off from yourself even more. And you want to see yourself even less. For example, I saw a truly terrible picture, terrible for me, because I realized that I was playing the victim. It was just, like, I don't even know how to explain it. I had a great trip to New York. Everything was awesome, fun, amazing. We walked around until morning. The meetings I had, I looked forward to them. I really wanted that. And I still really want it. So it's kind of a process that I had been waiting for a long time, that I was moving toward and that I will keep moving toward. So everything is really good. And yet, in the midst of all this well-being, I suddenly see my real self. A person who, in times of instability, ends up slipping into a victim mentality. And I can see myself as a target for some bad situations. I don't know. My internal state, my subconscious message to the world, it wasn't about joy at all. It wasn't about any kind of success. I'm not saying I always radiate this. I think it's just natural for me. There are different states. It's just very unpleasant to see yourself like that when you feel like everything is going great. And it's really uncomfortable to dive into that, figure out the reasons. Why did this happen? After that, I sat down, canceled my plans, and started writing, trying to figure out the real reason for this state of mind. But what struck me most about New York was that I saw myself. I don't know how to explain it. It's just something you feel. Sometimes I feel something, and it's so much more than I can express in words. That's why people invented art, because we can't express in words what we feel. Everyone has different associations, not only color, shape, but concept and situation. On what table or counter is this orange lying? What time of year is it? Is it winter or summer? Is it juice? Is it a peeled orange? Or is it the mother who is peeling this orange? So it's not just a word. We can have a completely different context for each word. That's why when I describe some of my states in my own words, for any other person, they apply those words to a different set of associations, and they end up with a completely different story. So how can we understand each other? I don't understand. If I don't know how to talk to myself, if I often can't find the truth within myself. Right now, one of my main goals in life is to do everything that is, live from a place of truth within myself. What am I feeling right now? Here I am showing C. Right now I'm aggressive. How can I express this aggression? Right now I'm angry, and I actually like it. Sometimes I don't understand. Sometimes I really have no idea where it is. Even when I'm alone with myself, let alone when I go out into society, do something, build relationships with people, or get involved in something, or do anything at all. Sometimes I have no idea where the truth is. That is, what am I really feeling right now without adapting to the situation or to the people around me? Can I truly feel what I'm actually feeling right now? Will I be able to handle these feelings in the moment, or will I not be able to handle them at all? Or am I afraid that I won't be able to handle them? And that's why I tell myself that I actually like everything here. And when I truly and deeply think about it, I profoundly realize that being completely honest and transparent with yourself, with your inner self, is like the absolute pinnacle of essential skills that people, we all genuinely need to diligently develop this crucial ability over time. It's very hard to acquire at first. Perhaps it is indeed quite possible to truly acquire it, but since we invariably and consistently perceive ourselves primarily through the eyes of someone else, and that very first foundational person is almost always our beloved mother, because she is undeniably the very first individual we ever truly see, our dear, cherished mom. And then we continue to perceive ourselves through our own interpretation of our mother's gaze. Not her actual words, not what she truly tells us, not even how she warmly hugs us, but rather how she deeply looks at us. And by the way, your mother looks at you, that's how you perceive things. The particular way in which you interpret your own mother's loving gaze is precisely how you ultimately perceive yourself. But where is the truth in that? At that moment, my mom might be thinking about something important. I don't know. But I think she doesn't love me because she's looking at me but not really noticing me. And then I start to think that something is wrong with me. And then I spend my whole life trying to prove that there's nothing wrong with me. And for the rest of your life, you can't handle these emotions because subconsciously you associate them with your mother not looking at you. And for you, your mother is your whole world. She's food, clothing, and love. Without that, you wouldn't survive. That's precisely why we construct a certain image, because we clearly see that our mother genuinely smiles when I get good grades, when I have braids, when I'm neat, when I behave well, when I don't get angry, when I don't break anything, don't shout, when I'm a good girl, happy, and everything in my life is scheduled, good grades, pretty dresses, and then everything is fine. But is that even possible in real life? But what if I'm not allowed, if I'm not permitted to express the full range of emotions, if I can't break something at home, if I can't express aggression through painting, because the whole floor might end up covered in paint, all the walls might be painted. That's my way of expressing aggression. But what will my mother say? Yes, everyone is different. But it's in this reaction from the mother that all our questions are answered. If I'm not allowed to hit, tear, I don't know, make a mess, and I'm only allowed to be neat, well-mannered, and smiling, then what do I do with the fact that I'm alive? What about the fact that I am mentally healthy? And that means I can get angry. And that means I need to express this anger somehow. How does a healthy psyche express anger? First of all, it's a direct message. Yes, I can get angry. I don't need to express anger in roundabout ways. I can express my anger directly. I can just yell, get angry, and not care about the neighbors or anyone else. I'm allowed to. I can express my anger outwardly. And I know how drawing, tearing things up, being dissatisfied, breaking something, dancing, hitting pillows. Maybe in our family, it's common to have pillow fights when we're angry. Saying it out loud. For example, I have a ritual, and in the evening, my mom, dad, and I sit down and talk about our feelings, what we felt today, what we feel right now. But if that's truly not the case, then what exactly am I supposed to do with it? Then I turn my anger inward, deep within myself, allowing it to consume me. And there is a whole wide range of different things that frequently show up in the most unpleasant and difficult areas of life. Serious illnesses, instances of self-harm, and poor, unhealthy relationships with yourself. The habit of not seeing yourself, the habit of seeing an image of yourself, but not seeing your real self. And as soon as you start to see yourself, you say, I can't stand this. I can't bear it. I can't bear the fact that I'm alive. I can't bear the fact that sometimes I can hurt another person. And I don't do it on purpose. I don't want to, but sometimes it just happens. Sometimes that's possible. And then I can't stand myself. And then I have a very bad relationship with myself. I talk to myself very harshly. I treat myself very badly. I don't allow myself anything good. And I keep myself on a very tight leash. Share in the comments how you treat yourself and what kind of relationship and dialogues you have with yourself. And I hope you found it interesting. Bye.